Awesome. I'm excited to get started here. Looks like we have a decent group here already. Today, I am really thrilled to have Oli Bilson present. And if you don't know who Oli Bilson is, or if he's new to you, let me tell you a little bit about him. Oli Bilson is an entrepreneur since he was 15 years old. Um, he's been running businesses for a long time, creating his own businesses and doing marketing agencies and all kinds of stuff. Ollie's been a huge help for us over here at Plus This as well. Their team has helped me with a number of campaigns that we run that some of you, I'm sure, may have seen as well. Campaigns with Titans is a big one that they've been helping us with. So it's really exciting to have Ollie here to kind of talk about the strategies that he creates for his clients, not just us, that you guys can apply in your own businesses to get some really cool results out of your conversions, your sales, and be able to do this all automatically, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass it over to Ollie and go from here.
Thanks, Bryce. Thanks for the warm introduction. Well, welcome everybody. You made it. Thanks very much for registering and turning up. I am super excited to share some valuable content with you that I know will have a profound impact on your business, because it certainly has for our business and those clients that we also serve as well. And of course, we're here to talk about how to create dynamic lead to customer experiences that generate more leads, boost conversions, and increase sales on autopilot. A bit of a mouthful, I know, but there's a couple of key ingredients in that: more leads and more sales. Really, that is the thrust of what we're going to be talking about on this webinar. And I'm going to be taking you through 11 step-by-step strategies that can help you exactly do that for your business. And I'm going to be talking about how we take proven direct response marketing tactics and marry that together with marketing automation to create what we call dynamic response marketing. Doesn't take a genius to put those two things together, does it? But maybe we were the first, I don't know. And I'm also going to be sharing with you how Plus This as a tool has helped us being able to easily deploy some of these kind of advanced strategies when it comes to making this all work for your business. So this presentation is for you if you want to create automated and personalized dynamic experiences for every lead, prospect, and customer. So that lead to customer experience, that lead to customer journey is really what we're going to be talking about, and how you can fully leverage the power of direct response marketing and also marketing automation, which in turn, and here's the important bit, could potentially double or triple your business in the next 12 months or less. And regardless of whatever type of business you are, whether you're on here because you're looking to help grow your bricks and mortar business, or maybe you're a service-based business or a professional services business, maybe you're an information marketer, or even if you're an agency just like us, or a coach, consultant, author, speaker, really anything else under the sun, this is definitely for you. And the one that I'm always not so sure about talking about is industry transformer. I've got no idea what the hell that means, but it sounded pretty clever to put it in anyway. And of course, regardless of what type of business you've got right now, my guess would be that you're here because you want to break through some of that frustration that comes with getting and also keeping customers with less stress and headache as well. So if we haven't been met before and you haven't heard me speak before, and this is the first time, nice to virtually meet you. I'll just give you a brief introduction to who I am and who you're listening to. As Bryce mentioned, I started my first business when I was 15, and I've been fortunate enough to grow 4 separate businesses in info marketing, training and coaching, our bricks and mortar business, and also our done for you marketing agency, where I spend most of my time now. And one of those businesses actually turned out to be pretty successful. We went from 0 to 170 franchisees in less than 4 years, using a lot of the tactics and strategies that I'm going to share with you on this webinar, actually. So you can take it from the horse's mouth. I've actually eaten my own dog food here, showing you what's actually working. And on a personal note, I've got a 9-year-old son, Spencer, and 3-year-old daughter, Sienna. I'll come back to Spencer in a moment, because if you're an Infusionsoft user, which you may well be, there's something cool I want to share with you there. And I'm a complete petrol head and car geek. And if we're ever at an event and I'm speaking and you come up to me and we're not talking about sales and marketing, come up and speak to me about cars or watches. Absolutely love speaking about them. So that's my tribe, my gang, so to speak, and of course my partner Lindsay. And I mentioned Spencer. If you're an Infusionsoft user, he's been building Infusionsoft campaigns since the age of 5, and don't ask me how he got into that, but when I came back from InfusionCon one year, I gave him access to the Sandbox application, and he got into it, and this is what he bought, with the obligatory bought from Spencer goal at the end, which is a bit crazy, but something cool I always like to share. So if you're out there, you're struggling to build Infusionsoft campaigns the right way, well, a 5-year-old can definitely build them for sure. I know they're not always the simplest things, but it's amazing what kids can do these days. These are some of our businesses that are real businesses. We actually do this stuff and implement this stuff for ourselves, not just our clients. And I think that's an important thing to remember, because there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of information out there, there's a lot of people trying to get you to buy their stuff, and we are on the cold face, we're on the real face of reality of what's working now. We get to see that, we get to aggregate a lot of information in our agency, and we're fortunate enough to work with a lot of cool people, plus this obviously being one of our clients, and also many other people you might have heard of, like Dan Kennedy and GKIC, or Mike Kearney, Josh Turner. All of these people are fairly formidable in the online space. And we kind of got a bit of a name for ourselves for running other people's marketing, being the marketer for marketers, and actually becoming their marketing department, which is what our agency does. And be sure to connect with me on over podcast. I've got a top-rated business podcast on iTunes there, and also come and speak to us about marketing stuff if we can help you. I don't know, but hopefully with some of the stuff we're going to share about here, you might want to find out more about how we can help you. Any case, let's dive into the content, because I know that's what you're here for. That's enough about me. So let's try and dig into things. And really what this whole webinar is predicated upon is really the big doors that swing on little hinges. As my good friend W. Clement Stone says. Now, I'll be honest, he's not my friend, but I totally believe in this principle, and I totally believe in leveraging technology to do the hard work for you, so you can make the selling easy. Okay, hard work. Let it do the hard work to make the selling easy. And I'm going to talk you through exactly how we're doing some of these types of campaigns that are getting results right now, and that are actually running right now as well for different businesses. And I'm going to break into a few different sections for you. And the first section we're going to talk about is capturing more leads. Now, if you're a business owner just like me, that is really the gas. It's the fuel that keeps the business going. You've got to have a consistent and predictable flow of leads coming into your business. And of course, there's lots of ways that you could go and do that. And one of the ways that we found recently that's working really well for us is actually capturing more leads with mobile marketing using SMS. And the benefit for this, of course, is the fact that not many businesses are fully leveraging mobile and SMS marketing, and they should be. They totally should be. And actually, the process of doing so is a lot easier than you may think, because of course, you are connecting with the device that's in your prospect's pocket. It is right there in front of them. the open rate is almost nigh on 100%. So that is a good thing for you to have in the myriad of emails that people are getting these days. And of course, if you're able to capture people's mobile phone number, then it actually opens doors and channels to communication that email just simply can't touch. And it's definitely the case if your sales process means you've actually got to speak to somebody. So if you're able to capture somebody's contact information with their mobile phone number and you need to speak to them, that's a good thing, especially if it's at the beginning of the sales process, because of course it provides a much more convenient and more responsive, in some cases, form of modality than email does. And of course, there's lots of ways that you can be capturing more leads with SMS. You could be getting people to text in a keyword to you from your website, or maybe you do a podcast and you want to generate leads from that. A lot of people say, you know, I'm not sure I want to do a podcast, it's not so measurable. Well, the great thing is you can easily start lead generating from something that you previously couldn't generate leads from before using this technique. Direct mail, I'll share with you an example of how we do that in a few moments, or space ads, magazines, or even from Stage, you can do that by getting people to text you a keyword and come in. And also Facebook ads, and this is a really big one and something that we really leverage plus this with, which I'll share with you. But one of those things that we do quite well is this is an actual advert from that's running right now in a national magazine, and we get people to text in a keyword, and from that the information comes into Infusionsoft. It gets passed and synced into Infusionsoft using plus this, and we can then begin an automated flow of conversation to follow up with them. And we've got the context of where they came in from, because we know that they came in from that particular ad, and using plus this, we can quickly and easily set the lead source in Infusionsoft, then begin an automated conversation, either continuing it through SMS or actually asking some information so that we can then follow up with them via email, which is fantastic. The other place where this really plays a big part is leveraging a little known tool in the Facebook advertising library of objectives, and that is called Facebook lead ads. Now the benefit, well, I'm not going to go too deep into what lead ads actually are, but essentially they allow you to put a opt-in form, a lead capture form inside Facebook. So it means that when people are interacting with your ad, they can actually do it all with inside Facebook. They don't have to jump off Facebook to a separate landing page to complete their details. And not only that, but Facebook does you a favor because it actually pre-fills all of that information for you that it's already got on those users, which is super cool. No landing page required, really simple and easy and effective to set up. And of course, in the past, lead ads were like a real nightmare because they were external from your CRM system, from Infusionsoft, Ontraport, Drip, whatever it is that you use as your marketing automation tool. You had to go in painstakingly export all of these leads that you were generating and then import them into your CRM. And with plus this, we use the lead ad sync feature. So we're able to actually push all of this information into Infusionsoft, which is our CRM. You may be using another, of course, but capture all of that information perfectly so we can begin the process of following up with them. And of course, you'll notice here that I'm asking for phone number. Now, you know, normally in these situations, you would want to ask for as little information as possible. But when Facebook is pre-filling all this information for you, you can ask for a little bit more information. And because we need that in the sales process, it provides that opportunity for us to collect the right information. And the same thing goes for custom fields. So in this example, you can see here that I'm asking them, would you like to speak to an advisor? Yes or no, or even maybe. And then then you can sync that information into a custom field in Infusionsoft and then begin the follow-up process, so that you can use the decision diamond in Infusionsoft to say, well, if they said they wanted to speak to an advisor, that's great. We can trigger an outbound call, a task for somebody to follow up, put a note on somebody's dashboard, whatever it may be. That lead sync feature has been really kind of revolutionary for us as far as Facebook lead ads have been concerned, because it just syncs everything perfectly together so that we can collect the right information through the right advertising medium and get really good results in doing it. And the reason why that is because there is such a congruency between the response mechanism and the delivery mechanism. You see, the fact is that when you are collecting mobile phone number and you know that they're coming in from a mobile phone ad, okay, because we know they're already on their mobile phone, that congruency between how they respond and how we then deliver the next message allows us to really begin to engage with our potential prospects and be able to develop that relationship with them through text messages, through the right automation, through the right syncing process, to set them on their own journey. And it works extremely well. And it's not just a case that this is limited to Facebook. If you run Google AdWords, for example, you can now do something called a click to text message extension. And in this case, what can happen is when there is some kind of search through Google with some kind of intent and your ad shows up, you can actually get somebody's mobile phone number, not just collecting emails on a website like you would do normally. Within a few taps, the message application on your phone opens, and it can be pre-filled automatically with a keyword, and that keyword then can set off that automation flow and syncing that information back into Infusionsoft. And the cool thing about this is nowadays it's not just about cost per lead, which you might have heard of before, I'm sure you have. And so when you're opening up and capturing more leads and collecting more phone numbers and using the benefits of follow up with SMS and using tools like lead ads and click to text from Google, you can actually start conversations in an automated fashion. And actually a new metric for us now is looking at cost per conversation, not just cost per lead, which is super cool, right? So now let's move on to, now we're sort of generating more leads. How do we, through a different modality that you haven't heard of before, how do we now best leverage other things that we're already doing to capture more information with? And a great way to do this is to collect more information as people are opting in. So you definitely don't want to have a dead thank you page. You want to give people the opportunity to give more information to you. So you can qualify your leads better. You can get the right information on them to start additional follow-up processes. Maybe it's offline follow-up. So if they're opting in for a digital PDF, well, why not on the second step ask them for a little bit more information, so that then you've got that mailing address so that you can begin an offline process to follow up with them as well. And around 80% of people will provide this to you, which is, super helpful. And you can then use this this process to also capture phone number as well on the second step. It works extremely well to do that with as well. And a bit of a little known way to do this isn't just with bolting that idea onto digital downloads and collecting mailing address, but also doing this for webinar thank you pages as well. So if you're running a webinar, a great way to get your to get more people to show up, of course, is to make sure that they've got a reason to show up, and it gives them a little insight into what they're going to discover on the webinar. A great way to do that is actually to deliver the handout in the mail. Now, of course, this isn't always possible based upon how you're running the webinar, but we find that if you've got a set webinar date in the future, then you can definitely do this. And a lot of people will give you this information. And of course, by collecting it, we can then collect the mobile phone number, so we can follow up with SMS, just like we were talking about before later on. This definitely increases webinar show-up rates. And when you're maybe selling a high ticket item on your webinar, then you can also go offline after the webinar because you collected that information up front. And so this is a really, really cool way that not many people are using to get those handouts rushed out in the post and deliver them an experience. Now, you might be wondering, well, you know, some of these mobile phone numbers that we're collecting, how do we know that they're legit, right? Well, Plus This has got a pretty handy feature to actually validate the phone number when it's entered in, so you know that it's formatted correctly. And the other way that we do this, one thing that I hate, is when people are entering in this information and it's not quite right and there's capitalization issues, Plus This can handle that as well for you. So you've got a really clean contact record coming through when you're capturing this additional information. It's definitely something worth bearing in mind. So the third thing is actually capturing more leads with social sharing. And again, this is something that we're doing more and more of, whereby post opt-in, when somebody's actually opted in, actually giving them a reason to actually share that opt-in page that they came in from, so that they can unlock different bonuses. And the nice thing about doing this is that there's an incentive for them. Okay, there's a reason why they'd actually share your stuff, because in this example, we're actually saying to them, okay, cool, so look, thanks very much for opting in for the video series, good job. Now, if you'd like to receive a free bonus video, then all you need to do is share this link to your friends. And again, we use the Plus This math feature, so that every single time that there's a successful referral, when that referral gets to a certain stage on the custom field, gets to a certain tolerance, we can then run an action based upon where that math feature that's been calculated. So every time there's a referral, it's adding a point on, it's adding a whole number into the custom field. When it reaches a certain level, then we can actually use that and actually do something with it. Now, this is working insanely well, because who doesn't want free leads, right? Everybody wants free leads. So this is a great way, regardless of whatever your lead magnet is, if you're not collecting that additional contact information on the back end, you can definitely easily bolt this post opt-in sharing incentive on and use Plus This math feature to calculate for you how many referrals are coming through, and then actually run actions on them for it to be meaningful to you, which I'm sure you'll agree is pretty cool. So cool. You like that, yeah, right?
It's really cool. I love it.
So let's talk a little bit about, actually, now we're sort of, you know, generating leads, how can we boost conversions and then ultimately increase sales using segmentation? Now, let me explain why this is super important, and probably I'm just about to share with you one of the most powerful things that you're going to see as far as marketing automation goes and leveraging technology like Plus This. Okay, and that is this. We as marketers, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we want to have a message that connects with our audience, with our market. Whenever you can align your message to market match as closely as possible, you're always going to get better conversions, you're always going to get better results, you're always going to get better consumption of your content, and you're definitely going to get better engagement. So how do you actually do this, and how do you do it in an automated way that's going to actually work and get results for you? And a great way to do this is to do something called front-end profiling. Now, I'll explain in a few moments why this is so valuable to the process, but I just want you to think for a second. Not all of your customers are the same, are they? Let's be honest about it. You know, everybody's got different challenges, frustrations, concerns. The issues that people are coming to you with will be different. Everybody may be at different phases of their own business. If you help business owners, not everybody's in the same situation. Okay, not everybody wants the same thing. Of course, they're interested in your free giveaway, your free widget, your free lead magnet, whatever it may be, but there's lots of considerations for them actually making a decision on the back of that. They need to feel understood. They need to feel like you understand them and that you can actually help them. So front-end profiling really plays a big part in this, so that you can then start segmenting up your audience and your avatars at the front end. And we do this often by actually just having a very simple drop-down box that usually buckets people into no more than 3 different categories. Now, in this example I'm giving you here, this is a free report, but it's actually a framed sales letter, really, that somebody's opting in for. There's some value in there, there's some information, but really it's a sales message that's contained within that. And what we're actually trying to do is try and understand how would they get started. It's a very simple question. Would they want to get started part-time, as a bolt-on, or as a full-time career change? All of those things are completely different, although the thing that we actually sell to them is exactly the same. Okay, all of those things are different, but what we actually sell to them is exactly the same. Now, all of this will come together for you in a few moments. Now, a lot of people will tell you that the more things that you ask for on your opt-in process, it is going to decrease conversions. And that may well be the case. But what I'd say to you is this: where it is possible for you to bolt this type of segmentation on the front end in terms of profiling, I would definitely do it, because it's going to be more meaningful to you. And whether or not you're going to use this data today or you're going to use it in the future, it gives you valuable insight into knowing what is working, who is actually coming toward you for a start, and who you should be channeling your messages to. So here's the thing though, using plus this and using automation, what we're actually able to do is when they select what best describes them, we can then begin to send them into 3 different sales messages. And so these are the pages that they see immediately after they've actually opted in. And as you can see here in sales letter 1, we've got a video sales letter followed by a long form sales letter underneath it. And of course, if they selected full time, there's a different sales letter that says, can full-time vehicle remapping technicians earn £250 an hour? It's congruent with them. Okay, now I'll share with you in a few moments the other components that we changed, but you can see every single one of these is different. It is talking directly to the market, and there's a perfect message to market match based upon the profiling. And this is what we call doing flexible content. And that means that we can tailor everything for each avatar. Now, that means then we can change the pre-headline, the headline, the video sales letter, the sub-headline, the opening, the testimonials to overcome different objections, bullet benefits, the different close and PS. All of it can be tailored directly to those 3 different types of avatar. And the beauty is, using plus this, we use a plus this feature called Smart Links. Now, honestly, I did this years and years ago. As you saw, that example was back in 2014. And honestly, it involved PHP code. There was I had to get a developer in. It was an absolute nightmare. In fact, before plus this, I actually had a full-time developer, PHP developer, that would do all of this sophisticated stuff. We even had to build some of our own WordPress scripts to actually trigger these things off. And honestly, I'm not the most technical person in the world, but it completely baffled me how all I wanted to do was send people to 3 different pages based upon what they told me. I couldn't do it. It was impossible. But using the Smart Link feature, it allowed me to do that straight away. And when we realized how powerful this was, we didn't just do it for our own business. We started doing it for clients as well. So here's an example of someone else. You like the idea we carried over the revolution theme. It worked really well, so we use it again. And in this example, this person sells a coaching course of how to become an Amazon best-selling author in 30 days or less. And one of the things that we wanted to know about the people coming towards us was, what's your biggest problem or challenge or concern, or whatever it is? And we bucketed those people up into more clients, more money, less time, or more authority and credibility. I need help getting started. All those 3 things are completely different. Using the Smart Link feature, based upon whatever they told us, we then segmented them and sent them into 3 different sales pages. And all of the follow-up that they had, all of the different follow-up emails were directed to every single sales page exactly as we wanted based upon what they'd said, which is so cool. And as you can see here, this is really, really leveraging dynamic response at its best. Everything is customized and bespoke for each one of these different types of avatar. It just works really well, and it really is the difference between being more of a shotgun than a sniper rifle. And I can't tell you how much of the heavy lifting was done when the smart link feature came out. I mean, personally, I think it's something that should be almost built in, almost, to Infusionsoft, but it's just not. And that's obviously the reason why we have plus this, but it works so well. So here's something else that's really cool, which is once people have actually opted in, we can do something called post opt-in segmentation. And as you can see here through this little GIF that I've got going on, there's depending upon, this is a gravity form, and depending upon what they select, it serves up different options. So what we're really wanting to understand here is, from the top, have they previously trained with us? And if so, okay, what are they most interested in? And what then, what best describes them, and then based upon scale of 1 to 10, if you see if they go to 7 now, it changes the last question, so that we get the rich profile information. This is another example of getting that rich profile information and then allowing yourself then to generate a score off these questions, because here's the thing, not everybody or not every lead is treated equal, right? Yeah. So the thing that we want to know, as well as adding these answers into custom fields, we actually want to know that if they do between, say that they're between 7 to 10 and say that they're looking to get started in the next 6 months, we can automatically assign a score to them, and then store that in a custom field. In fact, we can even add using the math feature again, or using using the math feature, we can add and subtract different answers off here, so that we end up with a score that we can run actions on. And just in case you're wondering, well, who the hell is going to be filling these things in? Well, as you can see, over 50% of people actually fill in this rich profile information that really gives us a really nice lead score to follow up with people. Now, the question we get asked a lot is like, why the hell would that be interesting to you? Well, first of all, it gives you immediate segmentation, which is pretty cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? We can then tailor the follow-up. So when we store that in a custom field using plus this, we can then say, well, we don't want to waste our money on like the lowest quality lead. So if they score between 1 to 4, let's follow up with email and SMS. If they score between 5 to 7, let's follow up with email, SMS, and phone, maybe an outbound call. And then if they score between 8 to 10, we can then follow up with them with email, SMS, phone, and expensive direct mail, because we've been able to, actually get really clear on the quality of that lead and what we're prepared to do to spend on them, and what we're prepared to spend on them. And so we can segment for more personalized follow-up. We can spend more time and money on the most qualified leads. We can even tailor the frequency of the follow-up as well. And we can reduce the cost of direct mail, which is, super valuable. You definitely should be doing direct mail. But the other thing you should be doing is probably reaching out through sales teams with the hottest prospects to mind. And so you'd want to make sure you're scoring these people effectively. And the math feature, again, is excellent in being able to do that. Again, you previously have to like mess around with the developer with all this stuff, and you just don't have to anymore. It's pretty cool. So the other thing that I want to talk about in terms of segmentation is actually what happens when somebody buys. So now that somebody buys something, a good way to start segmenting people is with net promoter scoring. And as you can see here, if you're not familiar with net promoter scoring, it's a great way to follow up new customers and ask them a very, very simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to your friends and family? And based upon that, they fall into 3 different categories. Now, what sort of changed, what we've seen happen over time is that lots of larger companies, Wistia, you may use them as your video provider here, you'll see all of these have got a very similar style. And the reason why all these big companies use this type of net promoter scoring when people become a customer is because it works, and because it's super easy. They're able to embed this really cool 0 to 10 score in there, so they don't actually have to bounce off to a web page to go and complete their survey, right? Nobody really wants to do that. So when you implement this, which is another plus this feature, surprisingly, they know what's coming around the corner and they go and get on it. And we use this in our business. This is actually this is an example of exactly what you can do with plus this. When somebody becomes a customer, you send them an email, and within that there's this embedded, really nicely styled NPS survey right in the email. They can just click it, and then it can apply a tag to that person based upon what they scored, and based upon what they scored, we can then follow up with them appropriately. So if we've got a detractor, somebody that's not very happy, then we can trigger the automation to follow them up. If they score as being really high, like a 9 or a 10, we can ask them for a testimonial. Then we can ask them for a referral. And now this is made super easy because you haven't got to go and get a web form with radio buttons and have some JavaScript that styles it, and oh god, not to mention all passing the URL stuff in the string to make sure that the ID contact is pulled down to the page. And by the way, if none of that made any sense to you, at one point it never made any sense to me either, but now you don't have to worry about it. That's the key point. This is made super easy now, and it looks great, it loads easily, and it just works, which is excellent. So now getting a little deeper into how do you improve the consumption of what it is that you're sending people. And what I'm going to talk about here is something that most people don't talk about, which is everybody's quick to tell you as a business owner that you should be developing, lead magnets, free content, irresistible offers. And they are kind of right, but let me ask you a question. How many of your prospects are actually consuming the content that you're putting out there? How many people are actually watching those videos? How many people are downloading those lead magnets? How many people are actually doing it? And I'm going to share with you a really neat way to get people to do what you want them to do, which is get them to consume your content so they can know, like you, and trust you better. And a great way to do that is using dynamic deadlines, even on free content. So when somebody opts in, you can then actually preset a deadline date in the future. So this is just like, again, insanely cool, because when somebody opts in for, say, a free video of mine, that might be, and it should be, you must be providing high quality content. So, why would we just let that fester? Why would we make that available to them forever? Let's create some urgency. Even though it's a free offer, let's say, hey, this video will be available to you for a limited time because it's a part of our premium content. You need to go and check it out by this date. And that really puts things in place so you can put reminders there to drive people back to consume your content if they haven't, so you can move them further down the funnel. And then, of course, you can easily expire this. Now, in Plus This, we use a feature called What is the Date? And that tells us what is the date in so many days. That pushes the date into Infusionsoft just to say, okay, in so many days, the date is this. And then we use a field timer to count down those dates to that date. It's really that simple, and we can use the human real date version so it looks completely authentic directly and merged into the emails, which, for me is excellent. And this doesn't just it isn't just limited to free content. You can also do this with campaigns as well. So this is an example of one of our campaigns called the 72-hour cash flow surge campaign that we deploy for a lot of people. And really what we're doing is inviting people to introducing an offer to them and really trying to get them to click, trying to get them to engage with some content. And when they do, what we use is the what is the date feature to automatically set a deadline date once they click any of those emails. and then we put them into the countdown series down to that offer expiring. And again, the great thing is here, you're really pushing people, well, you're really more pulling people than you are pushing people to consume your content, take advantage of your offers, you know, you can do this so easily now that it really is, you know, a few moments to set it up in plus this. I mean, the feature in itself is so easy now. It's all in one place as far as getting this deadline date set up. It really is super easy. And probably one of the campaigns that works extremely well where we actually do something called a super feature, and I'll explain in a few moments what the hell that is, but is what we call a 9-word email campaign 2.0. Now, when you stay to the end, and I haven't got far to go now, by the way, so stay with me, I actually want to share with you how you can get this exact campaign completely for free today. And it's a campaign that's generated literally thousands and thousands of dollars, not just for our businesses, but also for our clients as well. And in fact, it's one of the first campaigns that we deploy for any new client to their existing list. So if you've got an existing database and you want to find a way of turning those contacts into revenue, then you definitely want to be using this campaign. I mean, I can't even tell you, even in the past few months, how much money this has made for people. It's fairly amazing, but it's predicated on two very clever features with plus this. The first feature is actually an email reply feature. And what that means is instead of trying to get somebody to click, like in the last example, or instead of trying to get somebody to opt in for something, like we've talked about before, what this allows us to do is for us to send a few invitation emails, but be very casual. And actually in the copy, which we've written for you, by the way, in case you're wondering, this sounds great, but like, what about the copy? Well, all the copy is written for you, so you don't need to worry about that. It's just very casual. And we can say, hey, you still interested in this? We've got an offer I thought you might be interested in. If you are interested in it, just hit reply. 3 little words, 3 magic words, just hit reply. And what happens is plus this does its magic. It recognizes that an email has been sent back, it's been replied to, and then can automatically then trigger a sequence off in Infusionsoft to follow up with them. Now, the very fact that we said, hey, if you're interested in this offer, hit reply, whatever they reply then puts them into the sequence. But not only does it also allow that magic to happen so we can trigger off the next sequence of emails, but we use this thing called a super feature. And a super feature is a combination of features that happen at the same time, that happen one after the other. So you don't need to, you know, the process for setting this up means it's super quick and easy. And so the first feature is the email magic feature, the email reply feature. And then the second feature is the set expiry date feature, which we spoke about before, where we're actually saying, you know, well, if they reply, if John Smith replies on a Thursday and John Doe replies on a Monday, they're both going to get completely different expiry dates. And then we can be congruent in our follow-up to actually get them to go and buy. So both of those features happen at the same time. So you've got peace of mind that they're all happening and they're all synced up at the same time. And it's super quick and easy to create. But there's a few other things that happen here as well. Now, obviously, we use the expiry date to count down to the offer. And I mean, this example, we're driving people to an order form. But for your business, it might be driving them to a scheduled call. It might be driving them to come in store. It might be getting them to call you, whatever it may be. This campaign really lays everything out for you. In fact, we've written all of the copy for all of these emails. The swipe copy's in there. You can just literally go in just with a few tweaks and you can make this work for you. And using these plus this features, which is heavily predicated on, gets huge results. Now, there's another little feature that we use from plus this in this campaign as well, which is the page trigger automation. And what happens is page triggers are where we know that a contact had actually got to a page, and then we can basically follow up. We can trigger an email based upon that actually happening. Now, here's the really, really cool thing, is that you can actually, if you've got a mobile phone on record and you've got permission to market to those people, when people go to they actually go to the order form but they don't buy, we can actually trigger the page automation with plus this, so we know they got to the page, and we can trigger off an SMS to them to say, hey, did life get in the way, go back and buy. And we can also trigger email as well. We can trigger a task. We can use any of the automation within Infusionsoft based upon the page trigger, which is, you know, honestly great. So 3 really good solid features here that are really the little hinges that swing big doors. And as I mentioned, I'm going to share with you how you can get that whole campaign deployed for you. No hassles, no stress at the end of the webinar. So stay with me. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is about progressive and non-progressive video delivery. And this is really where, again, I'll be honest with you, I tried doing this myself before I was, using plus this. And honestly, again, we kind of made our own script with Wistia to do this, and it was unreliable at the best of times, to say the least. But we've fortunately found a much better solution, and that was using video triggers. And the nice thing is that with video series, what you want to do is you want to follow people up based upon where they've got in your in the video. You don't want to just send them email 2 if they haven't consumed email 1. You want to follow them up. So what we can create is this campaign which is progressive and non-progressive, so we can measure the consumption and then build in different contingencies to take them back to where they want to be. And it just allows for a very humanized, even though it's automated, a very humanized way of communicating with them, because people aren't stupid, and with technology we need to be careful that we do things in the right way. So using the video triggers, we can say, hey, you might have missed this in video 2, you want to go back and check it out, right? And then you send a few reminders to get them back to video 2 before then they go to watch video 3. What this really does is it makes sure that they've consumed enough of your content that's actually going to matter. And a great way to do this, in case you were wondering, well, that sounds like a lot of emails to write and I'm not really sure how we do that. Well, what we do is we just simply put timestamps on different things that we talk about in the video that they haven't watched. So we say at 1:53, we talk about the way to explode your business. At 10:21, we talk about the 3 biggest things that you need to know in order to double or quadruple your business in the next 12 months or less. They're just indicators, a little signpost to get people back to the videos that they haven't watched. And here's the other really cool thing with video triggers is when people have consumed so much of your content, you can then conditionally serve up the option to capture additional contact information. So what I mean by that is, think about it this way. When somebody's consumed so much of your content, say they've watched 75% of every single video that you've put together, which is great, that'd be nice. What you can then do is use plus this to say, okay, now I know that they've watched all of these videos. What I want you to do is I want you to go and trigger an email that sends them to a web form, so I can go and send them something in the mail, because they've triggered all of this. They've showed a propensity to consume. Therefore, now I want to go a bit deeper. I want to capture some more information. And we use this really well where somebody's got a physical book or they've got something that they want to send out in the mail, and they don't want to do that at the beginning of their funnel because that's going to cost them a lot of money. What they want to do is see who consumes their content, and then based on the video triggers, that will then tell them, hey, here's a group of people now that we're sending to go and capture contact information, so we can then go offline to follow them up, which is super cool. And probably one of the other things that you need to know about video triggers is we don't just use this in marketing campaigns, we also use this in membership sites. So if you've got a membership that you sell online and you need them to consume maybe the welcome video to allow you to know whether or not you know, they're actually engaged or not, then again, the moment they log in, bam, the video trigger can see how much of the welcome video they've watched. And if they haven't watched it, then you can build in those contingencies to reduce churn on your membership from new members that are coming in from free trials as well, which is cool.
Yeah,
so
it's really cool.
we got a few other things to go through, and what I want to say is this particular one is huge, is absolutely huge. And if you're running any kind of Facebook advertising, then you definitely need to be using this. And that is where you're actually syncing the statuses of where people are in your funnel, whether in your marketing automation tool, with Facebook audiences. And we can create these dynamic remarketing ads based upon where people have actually got to. So whether they're registered and they need to show up for a webinar, or whether they registered and they didn't show up, we can then conditionally start serving ads to them. And we use a feature called the custom audience sync with Facebook. Plus this makes it pretty easy so that when people actually get to different statuses of the campaign in different sequences, we can simply just tell Facebook, hey, we want to add them to this audience to start showing them this ad, and we want to remove them from this other audience. So you can make sure that you're not wasting advertising dollars on people that you shouldn't be advertising to, right? It makes perfect sense. And the nice thing about this is as well is that we can get really granular with it. So when people, you know, don't show up, we can follow up with them. If they showed up but didn't see the offer, we can then send them a different offer. If they showed up but didn't buy, we can send them an offer and get them to go back and go and watch a video about something else. Maybe it's objection handling as well, all through the plus this Facebook audience sync feature, which makes sure all of those audiences are congruent and kept up to date. Cool. So our last section, measuring engagement. And this is where we can get a bit crazy. And so I'm not going to get a bit crazy, but I do want to open your mind to some of the possibilities that are out there when it comes to measuring recency and frequency tracking in your marketing automation tool, so that then you can be more effective in your follow-up. And there are a lot of things when it comes to recency frequency. You might have heard of RFM, recency frequency, and monetary tracking. What I'm going to speak about here is some of the things that you can measure using plus this, using some of those advanced features, using technology to do the heavy lifting for you to make your marketing and sales more powerful, so you can get better results with how you're following people up. And how you're engaging with people. One is to measure the number of logins that people have made. So if you've got a membership site, measuring the number of people logins that are made, you can easily calculate that with the math feature. Whether it's page visited, so you can do that with the page triggers. Time on page, a little bit more advanced. Number of consecutive form submissions, you can do that. Number of referrals given, number of videos watched. All of these you can easily calculate with the math feature, and then run actions based upon that as well. Number of reports they've downloaded, number of consecutive actions they've taken, number of subscription cycles, number of videos they've watched, number of even inbound calls if you've got that set up. All of these things can just trigger a little HTTP post, a little bit of magic, a little bit of plus this magic, and give you the right data to make better decisions. Maybe it's number of decline payments. So if somebody's declined so many times, then that then can automate a manual process to follow people back up. And then things can get really super advanced with actions in a specific time period. And this is so good, because what you're able to do is you're able to say, okay, between these two time periods, between this, I want you to calculate the date calculate the time between two things being applied. And then you can think about lead to buyer time, or time between scheduled call and somebody actually buying. All of these things are very relevant. Of course, you can do things like number of logins in 30 days as well, if you're looking at that as well. So lots of cool things that you can track. And I know that, that for Bryce and the Plus This team, this, what I'm going to talk about here, was something that they've recently created. I think it's a few months old now, but is extremely relevant and extremely important for a lot of business owners, moreover, which is email engagement tracking. Actually being able to know in your Infusionsoft app or in your different marketing automation tool what who are actually engaged. Because I can tell you something, there are a lot of people that are marketable, but they are not engaged. And I can tell you that is hampering you severely in terms of your deliverability. It's also skewing your numbers. It's not giving you a clear representation over what your list is, and how you can, what results you're actually getting from your list. So a couple of things that you want to really think about is how many people are actually opting in and are new, but actually have never engaged in anything. And then actually how many people have never engaged, so that then you can use that Facebook audience feature to actually then take those people back up to Facebook to start marketing to them again. Because if we can now automate the process of knowing who's engaged and who isn't engaged, which is important, then based upon those different engagement periods, we can then start serving adverts to them. So the moment that somebody comes over 30 days not engaged, then we can start serving Facebook ads to them, which is huge. And really means that, you know, we're keeping our list clean. There's the fact that we're going to improve deliverability, and we can begin to automatically re-engage those people that are falling off. We can purge non-engaged leads, and then we can actually get better delivery, because more people and more people like email, Gmail and Yahoo and Hotmail, they're actually monitoring engagement. So actually when you see more people come through, there's going to be less spam in your mailbox as well. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed what we've been speaking about there. I hope you found it valuable, insightful, and you can go and take some action, which is the reason why you're here. So I know, Bryce, you've got a couple of things to say, and also we've got something cool we want to share with everybody on the call. So excited to share that.
Yeah, so how many of you in the chat here liked what Ollie just taught you and are going, your mind's going crazy now and you're like, I need to do something like this in my business? Go ahead and chime in there. But basically, if you like what you saw there, you're probably going to be interested in what PlusThis can help you with. Like Ollie said throughout a lot of his presentation, we do a lot of different things. So we help add in more functionality for platforms like Infusionsoft, Drip, and Ontraport, including things like SMS, those date timers, doing countdown timers, video triggers, math, a whole bunch of things. Even this webinar is one of the things that we use PlusThis with, to know who actually attended, who missed, and so we can follow up with you all differently based on that. So that, if this is the kind of stuff you want to do, we have a special little gift for people who attended, and we're going to offer what Ollie talked about there, where you can try PlusThis for free for 30 days, and the first 10 people who sign up for a free trial, Ollie's team's going to build in the 9-word email campaign that he went over in this presentation. So it's a really cool offer, and I believe we're letting that offer go until Sunday, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yep, so Sunday is the deadline for that. And last time we did this, we basically had the first 10 signed up before the webinar was over. So I wouldn't wait till the last minute to get these things. They go really quickly anytime we offer a campaign. And this is the first time we've ever offered this campaign. So it's brand new. It's not a brand new campaign in the sense that it's never been used, but it's brand new for us to be able to share with you all. And we've used it in our own business, like Ollie said. He does this with a lot of his clients as one of their first ones, and it's generated lots of money for us too. And I've seen the results that it's gotten for other people too, and I'm a little jealous. And I want to be like, how can we get more like that too? But yeah, it's a really successful campaign. So, and I really love it. It's a simple one. Like it says right there, 9 words really, and it works really well. So we're offering that again. So the first 10 people who sign up, deadline for that is this Sunday. Cool.
Love it.
And I
Love it.
think that's it.
I just
So
want if I could
go
just
ahead.
add a few things, Bryce, I just want to say, obviously, want to be respectful of your time, so I'm not going to go on any longer than I already have. But I just want to say this. So, well, two things. One is about the campaign that you're going to get. So we, as Bryce mentions, that is something that is could potentially unlock pots of gold, if that's a real thing, unlock money, extract money from your existing list. It really does work really well. And the best part of it is that with Plus This, of course, we're actually teaming up 3 different Plus This features as part of that campaign. So you're actually going to get first-hand experience of how that's working and what value it has to your business as well, which, it really does get great results. And that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is this. So I've known Bryce for quite some time, and I know I've known and Dave for a long time, and the rest of the team there. And honestly, I've got to tell you this. I alluded to it in the presentation, and I really mean this. In the past, things were really difficult. They were frustrating, challenging, and tough, without being able to sort of leverage a tool like Plus This to kind of get the results you want. Often, as a business owner, you kind of got different ideas, things that you wish things would do that they just wouldn't do, and that can be disheartening, because that you can get better results if only you were able to provide a better lead to customer experience. Fortunately, Plus This obviously provide the way to create those experiences to unlock the full potential that's in really most Infusionsoft is one of those, but many automation platforms. And the team are great. Honestly, the support that we have as an agency, and we run lots and lots of Plus This accounts for some of the power users, who are using hundreds of different Plus This features every single month, every single week, to get the most out of their marketing campaigns. So whether you're new, whether you're a beginner, or maybe you're kind of an advanced marketer and you've been holding off for some time, I just solely encourage you to go and take advantage of this and make it work, if only just for the 9-word email campaign. Looking forward to that getting results for you.
Yeah, no, I super appreciate this. So if anyone has any questions, Oli and I might have some time where we can answer some in the chat. Otherwise, we appreciate you for sticking around for this, and we look forward to be able to work with you if you have anything that you need with your marketing or any help with running these tools or getting campaigns built with an agency like Oli Bilson. Cool. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wait here for a little bit and then we'll go ahead and close it off. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Cool. We're seeing some right here now. Beautiful. Let me make them a little bit bigger. All right. Jamie asks. Okay. So we have some that are already a customer. And let me blow it up so I can actually see the full question. There we go. So how do people who are already customers get this? If you're already a customer, one thing we've done that I think we can do for this one too is if you go to the marketplace on Infusionsoft, go ahead and post a testimonial and send me a screenshot, and I'll count that as qualifying for the campaign. So the place for that is marketplace.infusionsoft.com, and then just send me an email with the screenshot and we'll be good. Awesome. Lucy just signed up for the free trial and wants to know how to get the 9-word campaign. So we're basically running this over the weekend, and then as soon as we're done with the campaign, basically when it expires on Sunday, then we will know who the first 10 are, and we will implement those into your app. We'll follow up with some details for that. Cool, cool. Cool. I think we're good there. Anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to just wrap it up there. Awesome. Yeah, I think we're good.
Love it.
Awesome, Oli. Thanks again for jumping on and for doing this excellent training.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been using Plustis obviously for a while too, and I learned a lot just from seeing how you guys use it. I always seem to learn a lot more from our users than I do from just like getting in there and trying to figure out things for myself sometimes. So this is really helpful for me too.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Love it.
Well, all right. Thanks everyone for attending, and we will follow up with the people who are getting the 9-word emails early next week. Thanks again. Bye.